So here we are exactly 12 months later. How's the progress on the engine? Well, here's what the oil looked like that I took out yesterday. And here's fresh oil, which I just touched a bit to the rag so you can compare the color. Look at that. Even though I'm only cutting the dirty oil with clean oil, like I'm only taking less than half of it out, there is a much improved color. I mean, compare that to this, which was from the video a year ago. Here's a rag I used to wipe my hands off after I spilled on them, and shows you the difference between the color of the fluid that came out, and here's what color it's supposed to be. Pink. Now, I only do like about 11,000 kilometers a year or so. So now what I'm doing is changing the automatic transmission fluid and the oil together. And I do it about twice a year. And even though I've only done it 2 times since the last video, I have already got the fluid back to basically normal. I've also learned a couple of tricks. First off, the fluid in the transmission is not pumping if the vehicle's in park. I'm not absolutely certain that's true, but I think it is. And that's certainly the case with other newer vehicles. So in addition to letting the vehicle heat up, I'm also using neutral to circulate the fluid. So you have to set the emergency brake or hand brake and then shift the car into neutral while it's heating up. And that seems to speed up the process of getting past that first sort of cold start shifting hiccups that the car tends to get, certainly in super cold weather like we're having right now. The second thing is there's a way to get more than just 2.5 liters out by pulling the drain plug. I'm not absolutely sure which hose is which, but there's 2 pretty narrow hoses down here that go into the radiator intercooler. Now the main rad is this thing here, and then if you can see through the crack there, there's another much smaller radiator. Well, that's an intercooler. That cools your transmission fluid. For that to work, there has to be a pump and there has to be an in and out. So these hoses down here, I don't know exactly which is which, but one of them feeds into this rad and then the other pulls back. Most likely the fluid pumps in, travels down, and then pumps out. I'm not absolutely certain, but ultimately it wouldn't make too much of a difference. I could break the line at that point by just opening one of those connections and then pump whatever fluid comes out into a bucket, and I would get much more than 2.5 liters. I'd get the stuff that's inside the transmission drum and all the, interior parts. So again, probably won't do as good as flushing, but that would do an even better job than I'm doing now. So that's an idea for a future video. In 6 months' time, it'll be time for another fluid change, and we'll compare and see just exactly how clean the fluid comes out that time.